Professor Virdee, thank you so much for joining the Punjab Feed.
Thank you so much for having me.
My first question to you.
Sure.
What's the level of Sikh philanthropy now, and what do you foresee in the future?
There's two levels to Sikh philanthropy. One is where you have philanthropists who go out and do social impact. So there's social impact work being done, and they walk and do and deliver on the words of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Then you have the blind philanthropy, which they just give money and hope for the best. Gurudware de aunde ne ya kite de aunde ne and just hope for the best. It's like a discharge of responsibility, which I don't think should be the case, because where people really want to do philanthropy or give or take the swand, they should actually do it themselves. And that doesn't just mean by taking money out of your bank balance and writing a check. You're going to help somebody elderly or doing something for somebody. So there's different levels of philanthropy. And for myself, I believe in having a social impact where you can see an impact, where there's an impact being made on somebody's life, where there's a change being done. And that's always been, for the Virdee Foundation, that's always been their ethos, education, health awareness, drugs awareness, women empowerment. So these are the kind of things that we've always been promoted, as well as other things.
So could you please shed more light on the areas that you have chosen for your philanthropic activities?
So education is one of them, because I'm a strong believer of education. They say, you give a man a fish and he'll eat for one day, you teach him how to fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life. And education is power. That's something that nobody can take away from you. So education is very important. Healthcare is important. Empowerment of women. And just from the Sikhi element, it's very important, because what's happened is in the West, as much as they try to say that there's a balanced society, it's not. The imbalance is very, very poor. Even if you look at some of the FTSE 100 companies, you look at the CEOs, how many females they are. There's not many. How many females do you have on FTSE 100 company boards? Not many. So empowerment is important. A balanced environment is very important. So these are the kind of things that we choose. Although in COVID, we slightly diversified because it was an hour of need, and we went into providing oxygen in Punjab. We headed up the refurbishment of the oldest Gurudwara outside of India, in Shepherd's Bush, Khalsa Jatha. So there's different environments and different times where we would work, but our core is education, healthcare, drug awareness is our core ethos of our charity.
Let's talk about education. So how do you contribute to this vital sector?
So we have a school. Well, we have a couple of schools. So we have in Africa. We sponsor some children outside of India. We do children in Africa as well. So we sponsor children as well as running a school. I think that's for about 166 children in Congo, in the DRC. We are now in the middle of bringing another program. It's a business, not so much charity, but with a social impact, which we are launching very soon in Punjab. We're starting it off in Punjab. The pilot projects are being done as we speak. But I believe in educating. So there should be a system where people are being educated. And it's delivered. And just not education, skilled-based education is very important, because there's no point being a academic, and there's nothing wrong with being an academic, but there should be some
employability.
Absolutely, which is the biggest problem today in Punjab.
There have been some concerns within the community that the resources of the community, they are being squandered by some, not all of them, by some photo opportunists. How do you react? How would you react to those concerns? Are these concerns legitimate?
I always say I'm the last person to judge. I don't judge people. And if somebody's raising money for under the banner of a charity. So the Virdee Foundation doesn't raise money. We don't actively go out to raise money. We put out a notice once in a while. Normally it's between family and friends when we do our work, because our track record speaks for itself. Our work speaks for itself. We're a zero cost administration foundation. There's no money that gets taken out.
But I'm talking about community resources in general.
So community resources, it's a topic that, as they say in Punjabi, jo karuga so paruga. If somebody's doing this, karma will come and serve them, and it will happen in this lifetime. People talk about, agle janm ch main ye hounga, it's going to all happen here. They will have to balance and level their books out in this lifetime. So if somebody is doing this
just for publicity,
or if somebody's doing this to raise money and squander that money and keep it for themselves or their own personal use, they have to balance that books. And the books is with the big guy up there. So there's no bigger accountant than him when it comes to balancing the books. So they'll have a lot to pay for. That's all I have to say on this point, because I don't like to get into controversial conversations or negative if somebody is doing this. If somebody is doing it, they have a responsibility and a duty of care if they're doing it under a charity. And if they are failing that duty, then they'll have to settle the books.
Coming back to education here, do you think there is a dire need of maybe 10 Peter Virdees joining hands together to sponsor at least 100 Sikh students from South Asia especially, for them to be able to take education in Ivy League colleges, in Oxford, in Cambridge, and 10 years down the line, you'll have a cream of 1,000 young Sikhs who are highly intellectual and are competent enough, armed with modern education, and represent the community on the global stage. Do you think this can happen?
I think it can happen. I don't think it needs 100 Sikhs to do this.
No, 10 Peter Virdees maybe.
10. I don't think it needs 10 Peter Virdees. I think, look, you use Peter Virdee as an example. I can promise you there's far, far, far bigger people out there than Peter Virdee. I'm a very small drop in the ocean, and there's some real generous donors out there that do a lot more. I'm a lot in the limelight. I attract a lot more cameras and flashes, but I can assure you and I'm sure there's a drive there for that. And I agree that there should be a drive to push Sikh students into Ivy League colleges or red brick colleges. I'm a firm believer of that. And I'm sure if an initiative was to be put out there, or a Sikh scholarship was to be developed, it shouldn't take long to finance such a project. There should be certain conditions attached to this, because we did a similar program many, many moons ago. And our only condition was that the child or the student we sponsored, the only condition we asked from them is that when they get a job or they get into employment, they must sponsor somebody else. So it keeps them going. So you have to keep on recycling this whole process.
Would you encourage such initiative?
100%. I mean, we've done it once already. We didn't do an Ivy League one, but we did an education one. It'd be a pleasure to do something like this, because it will have a direct impact, you see. And setting somebody the platform to get into an Ivy League. I mean, you've got to be of a certain caliber to get into the Ivy League.
Yes.
So that's down to your self-determination and education and your own willpower. Then comes the financing to put you through the process. And that's where we get into it. So we can only, as they say, you can only take the horse to the water. The horse has to drink the water itself. But it's having that horse who is ready to go to that water. So that's where we have to find the students out there. The problem we have today, and I get a lot of this, especially on social media, it's such a shame, because what we have and I talk about Punjab is a state that always fed people. It's a breadbasket of India. So today we have our students who are landlords, belong to landlord families. Even if you have 1 acre of land or half an acre of land, you're still a landlord. And they are selling this to go abroad on the pretense of being students and then working in McDonald's and flipping burgers and doing things. The mindset is wrong. And I think the reason this is because they don't see the opportunity in India, in Punjab. And it's a shame because you're spending 30, 40, 50,000 pounds to go to America or to go to Canada.
But is it brain drain or brain gain? How would you rate it?
I think it's lack of brain.
No, lack of brain.
It's a lack of brain. Why would you sell your land for 100,000, say for example? You sell your land for 100,000. You pay an agent 50,000 or 30,000.
But that's happening all over India. It's happening down south as well.
I can only talk about Punjab. Okay, I can only talk about Punjab because I belong to Punjab. I see what's happening in Punjab, and I'm sure it's happening everywhere else. But we can only talk about what we see and what we know. And these are the students that are going there and working in tertiary jobs. I'm sure with that money, if they invested it in India and did something sensible in India, they'd make money. So there's a difference between brain drain. So the brain drain question you asked, is it brain drain? Now, if you are an engineer or you're a doctor and you don't have that opportunity in your home country and somebody from America or New Zealand or Australia poaches you and takes you away, that's brain drain. You're draining the brain. They're taking it away because they're paying you and promising you a lot more than what you are gaining in your own motherland.
But that's not the case here.
No, that's far from the case.
You spoke about limelight, and you have been in limelight for right and wrong reasons, and one of them being a brush with the law. So how did it impact, or did it impact your philanthropic activities?
No, not at all. You see, what happens is you have, you see, our community is very great. You know, you could have done 150 great things. One controversial thing, which is not proven, yet to be proven, but they will judge you, jury you, and sentence you, and convict you, and hang you, all in one go. And our community is amazing.
That's what I'm saying.
But having said that, it didn't impact my philanthropy, it didn't impact my giving, because my faith in Vaheguru was so strong. I knew I would win this situation. I knew I was innocent. I knew I'd overcome this. And this was a 14-year legal battle for me. It took me 14 years to fight this case. And people were saying, I've gone mad. Why are you fighting it? Do a deal. My argument was, I'm not doing a deal. I will fight the case. And, you know, it takes a lot to fight a case for 14 years. And I did. But that did not change my belief system. It actually reinstalled my belief system, because some of the miracles that happened, it really made me realize that, wow, there is a God out there. And either it's miracle or it's God, but there is somebody out there looking over me. So the answer to your question is no, it didn't. It actually reinstalled my faith. You know, something negative has to happen for something positive to happen. And that's what happened in this situation.
Professor Virdee, thank you so much for joining us once again, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Vai Khalsa, Vai Fateh.